And now I'm delighted to say that we're going to take this debate stateside, as it's not only here that banking services are being ripped away from controversial figures. Dr. Joe Mercola had his Chase bank accounts in the US taken away, as well as those of his CEO, CFO and family members. And Dr. Mercola joins me now from Florida. Hi, Joe. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. I'm interested to know, firstly, why these accounts were closed and what have the effects been on you and your colleagues?
Well, interestingly, we're also interested to find out and understand why they closed, because they refused to disclose that to us. Even though after repeated requests, they have not given us any definitive answers. We can only speculate as to what those reasons are. And it's impacted our employees quite significantly. One of our CFO has a disabled husband who's requires 24/7 care. He's in the Philippines, and his bank account is intimately tied and connected with his ability to receive this care. So it's been an enormous hardship, and it's unfair for someone. There is just no justification for this type of action that we can understand and find.
You very much swam against the tide of public opinion during the pandemic, didn't you, Dr. Mercola? And presumably that must be partly why this decision has been taken.
Well, I think it's a pretty safe speculation, but yes, I was awarded the badge of honor of being the #1 spreader of COVID misinformation in 2021 by the Biden administration and the White House and the press secretaries and the NIH. So I was very pleased for that. We had Bobby Kennedy running for the president in 2024. He was also on the list. He was #2. So, there's a high likelihood that had something to do with it, especially in light of the fact that the federal government seems to be in collusion with the banks. And just recently, the large regional bank in the United States went belly up, and the federal government decided to transfer that banking assets to Chase. And you have to speculate and wonder, maybe it has something to do with coordinating efforts that the government wants. So we don't know. We have no proof. It's only pure speculation, but it's certainly a possibility.
Your tweet about this has been viewed more than about 10.5 million times. You're very popular on social media. But is this sort of travesty making the mainstream media in America at all? Or is it like here, until a week ago, it was solely the preserve of social media?
That's a great question. I really can't comment accurately on that because I don't look at mainstream media. I've long realized and understood that the information they spread is it's Orwellian doublespeak, and you can almost trust anything they're saying is the exact opposite of what the truth is. So I don't watch mainstream media. I will review the New York Times and the Washington Post just to make sure to understand what the narrative they're trying to push on the public. But other than that, I just am not connected to that in any way, shape, or form.
So has your organisation and the people who work for it been able to just simply go out and get new bank accounts? Is it just a little inconvenience, or has it really hit them hard?
Oh. Yeah, it's more than a little inconvenience. It's a major inconvenience. And I mean, the business is the business, and they've given us a month to transfer accounts. So, and they're in the process of doing it. It's just a lot of extra unnecessary work. And I can't speak to the specifics of what's going on with my CFO and her husband, but I'm hoping that it's not going to interfere and impair his ability to continue to receive care.
Do you have any form of recourse, Joe? Do you have any means of getting justice? I mean, here, Nigel Farage happens to be such a huge figure that he has a public voice. Whereas you as a physician, as I say, you're very popular on social media, but you probably don't have the hotline to the banks or the national newspapers.
We've had many millions on social media, but as you know, as a result of the pandemic, they essentially deplatformed us. So most of our social media presence is really from my previous awareness by the public, and then other people that knew of me retweeted that message, so they were aware of what was going on. But the recourse we have is we filed a complaint with the State Attorney General of Florida, and there's high likelihood that it will be some action on that front. And also, the state of Florida, where our business is and I live, has recently passed legislation forbidding this type of discrimination. So we're hoping that will play some impact and probably be escalating this to the governor, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Well, I was just going to say, you have probably the most sympathetic governor in America when it comes to this issue in Ron DeSantis. Have you contacted him about this yet?
I believe our staff has, yes.
Yeah.
But he's obviously in the middle of a busy campaign.
He's got quite a lot on.
Yeah.
But do you have any idea whether you are an isolated case or how many others? Because here, what's happened is Nigel Farage has gone public with his story and has been inundated with thousands of people and organisations who've been victims of the same sort of cancel culture. Do you have any idea whether you are in a similar position there?
I don't know if it's as massive as it is over there with Nigel's case. I have heard some stories, but I don't know how pervasive it is. And I don't know what type of targeting they're implementing or what justification they're using to do this. As I said, we've asked and requested the information. They've just refused to provide us other than a nebulous generic statement that means absolutely nothing because they've refused to provide any specific detail.
Terrifying. Absolutely chilling. Dr. Joseph Mercola, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I think the work you've done has been phenomenal over the last couple of years. So I'm very happy to shine a light on your situation here.